Welcome back. Let us continue our discussion again. So today let us discuss Laue equation. So we know that diffraction condition delta K is equal to G vector. Delta K should be a reciprocal lattice vector. So this is the diffraction condition. So we can express this diffraction condition in another form, that is called the Laue equation. So for that, let us take the scalar product of delta K with the axis vectors A1, A2 and A3 vectors. Okay, taking scalar product of delta K with these vectors A1, A2, A3, we get delta K dot A1 is equal to, the right hand side will be G dot A1. Okay, so therefore we can write delta K dot A1 is equal to, this is equal to, what is G? G is V1 B1 vector plus V2, where V1, V2, V3 are integers and B1, B2, B3 are the reciprocal lattice vectors along the three different axes. Okay. Dot A1. So we know B1 dot A1 is equal to 2 pi. So therefore 2 pi V1. B2 dot A1 is 0. Similarly B3 dot A1 is also 0. So this is delta K dot A1 is equal to 2 pi V1. Similarly, delta K dot A2 is equal to 2 pi times V2. And delta K dot A3 is equal to 2 pi V3. So, these are the Laue equation. So this is another expression for the diffraction condition. Now, so what is the meaning of these equations? So let us discuss that. So this is a scalar product of two quantities, two vectors. The delta K and A1, so we can draw A1. So this is the A1 axis and this is delta K vector. So delta K must lie on a cone about the direction A1. So delta K will be on a line, on a cone of axis A1. Okay. Similarly, from the second equation, we can see that delta K must lie on a cone about the direction A2. And the third equation says that the delta K lie on a cone about the direction A3. So that means for diffraction to occur, the delta K must satisfy all the three equations. It must lie at the common line of intersection of all the three cones. So which is a severe condition that can be satisfied only by systematic sweeping or searching in wavelength or crystal orientation. So if we change the wavelength and continuously and we get up for a particular wavelength, this equation gets satisfied, or we can change the angle of the incident beam with the plane. So when we change the angle by keeping wavelength constant, when we change the angle also we will get at some particular angle, we will get all these equation get satisfied. Okay. So it is a very severe condition. All the three equation may get satisfied. That means, so it will be delta K should be in a particular line. So this line is common line of intersection of all the three cones. Okay. So this is the importance of Laue equation. So we have many different expression for or condition for diffraction, which is all the conditions are same actually. Okay. So this is another expression of the Bragg condition. Next we can discuss evolved construction. Evolved construction. So that is another geometrical representation of diffraction condition. So let us consider a reciprocal lattice. You know what is reciprocal lattice? Reciprocal lattice, the lattice points are separated by a distance which is reciprocal to the distance or the dimension in the real lattice. Here these points are like reciprocal lattice points. We know that in reciprocal lattice the lattice points are separated by the consecutive lattice points are separated by a distance which is proportional to the reciprocal of the dimension in the real lattice. For example, that is, if in the real lattice the distance between two consecutive points are a, then in reciprocal lattice, so correspondingly there will be one reciprocal lattice for the crystal. Then the reciprocal lattice, the lattice points are separated by the reciprocal of the distance. Actually, the 2 pi by a. 2 pi divided by a is the distance between two consecutive. So now let us, so I have drawn the figure completely here, the evolved construction I have made it, but I'll explain it how to do it. So the first step is to draw a propagation vector k along the X-ray beam. So this k, vector k represents the direction of X-ray. We have chosen an origin O in such a way that this k terminates on a lattice point. That means reciprocal lattice point. So here there is a lattice point. So this k terminates on the lattice point. Next is to draw a sphere of radius k. K is equal to 2 pi by lambda. 2 pi by lambda. About the origin of k. So about the origin of k, that is this O, about O, draw a sphere of radius k. And this sphere intercept it at any other lattice points in the reciprocal lattice. That means, so this sphere intercept here. So we can connect that 2 points if the sphere intercepts any other points at this point, then diffracted beam will be formed. Okay. So here in this sphere, the sphere intercept at this point, at the second point. Okay. Now let us draw a diffracted beam k dash from the origin O, and k dash is given by this k vector plus, and these 2 points can be connected by a reciprocal lattice vector g, because these are the points in the reciprocal lattice. So any 2 points in the reciprocal lattice can be connected by a reciprocal lattice vector g. So k dash is equal to k plus g. Okay. So we know that delta k is equal to should be equal to a reciprocal lattice vector. So here from this figure, so this g is nothing but delta k. So k dash is equal to k plus delta g. That means k dash vector minus k vector is equal to delta k, which is equal to g. Okay. So this is the evolved construction. So here Here theta be the Bragg angle, that is the angle between the incident beam and the plane of the crystal. Okay, so theta, so this is the incident beam direction and this is the reflected beam. So this angle, so the angle is, this angle is theta, that means this is the angle theta. Okay, so angle theta is this is the direction of the plane, and this is the direction of the incident beam, and this is the direction of the reflected beam k dash. Okay. So this is the direction of delta k. So this is the evolved construction. Next we are going to discuss the Brillouin zone. We are discussing the reciprocal lattice and the diffraction condition. Okay. So what is a Brillouin zone? A Brillouin zone is defined as the Wigner-Seitz cell in reciprocal lattice. It is the Wigner-Seitz cell in reciprocal lattice. We know that the diffraction condition, 2k dot g is equal to g square. So we can divide this equation by 4. So we may get k dot g vector by 2 is equal to, we divide by 4. So therefore we can get g by 2 whole square. So this is another equation for the diffraction condition. K dot g by 2 is equal to g by 2 whole square. So that means k dot g by 2. K dot g by 2. So this is k, this vector, this is k, this is g by 2. This is g by 2 vector. Then, so therefore, projection of k along the vector g is g by 2 only. Okay, that means k dot g by 2, therefore g by 2 into g by 2 square. Okay, so this is the meaning of this equation. Now we can see the Wigner-Seitz cell in the reciprocal lattice. See the figure. So here it is a reciprocal lattice space. I have drawn reciprocal lattice points. We know the reciprocal lattice space is the space of the propagation vector k and reciprocal lattice vector g. Okay, so we can represent the direction of the propagation by vector k, direction of propagation of x-rays by vector k, and g are the reciprocal lattice vector. That means the vectors connecting any two lattice points in the reciprocal lattice space. Let us consider a lattice point in the center. Select a vector g to any other lattice points. So let us take the lattice points, the next lattice points from here, around towards the right. Construct a plane perpendicular to this lattice vector g at its midpoint. So I have considered many other lattice points and joined the lines connecting all these lattice points from the consider the central lattice point. So these are the vectors g. So the black line indicates these vectors g, and I have drawn, so the perpendicular bisector planes are drawn to all these lattice vectors g. So this white line indicates the perpendicular bisector planes. Okay, so this central shaded region is very important in crystal physics. So this central region is called the first Brillouin zone. Okay, so it is nothing but the Wigner-Seitz cell in the reciprocal lattice. So we have drawn the Wigner-Seitz cell in the case of direct lattice in the first chapter, but we have drawn the Wigner-Seitz cell in the reciprocal lattice as well here. Okay, so the central cell is called the first Brillouin zone, It is the volume, the smallest volume enclosed by these planes, which are the perpendicular bisectors of the reciprocal lattice vectors. So the first Brillouin zone, it is the smallest volume enclosed by the perpendicular bisector planes to the reciprocal lattice vectors drawn from the origin. So we have considered this origin in the center. In this figure, a two-dimensional oblique lattice is shown. So these are the reciprocal lattice points. So the reciprocal lattice vectors are drawn from the origin, and the perpendicular bisectors are also drawn. Okay. So the smallest area enclosed within these planes is called the first Brillouin zone. In this figure, it is shown the reciprocal lattice of a linear lattice. That means one-dimensional lattice. So here the shortest lattice vector is b. Okay, b and minus b. So half of that b is equal to 2 pi by a. If a is the lattice parameter, then 2 pi by a is the vector b. So half of that is pi by a. Similarly, half of minus b is equal to minus pi by a. So therefore, first Brillouin zone has the boundary plus pi by a and minus pi by a. We know that the boundary is the perpendicular bisector planes drawn to the shortest reciprocal lattice vector. In this case, it is b because only one direction. It is a one-dimensional lattice. So b is the reciprocal lattice vector corresponding to that. Okay. That's all for today. Thank you.